There are mysteries that have transcended centuries, echoing in the hearts and minds of generations who seek to understand the purpose of life, the meaning of justice, and the scope of faith. When we speak of the Book of Enoch, we dive into one of the most enigmatic and powerful texts that has ever influenced spiritual tradition. This book, which is not part of the canonical Bible, offers a unique vision of the divine, the fallen angels, judgment, and forbidden knowledge. It invites us to see the universe and humanity's role under an entirely new light, where the sacred and the profane intertwine in an epic narrative filled with wisdom. Imagine a world where knowledge can be both a gift and a curse, where vigilant angels, who were meant to watch over humanity, become the very cause of its downfall. The Book of Enoch presents us with an impressive narrative about these celestial beings, known as the Watchers, and the way they brought secrets to earth that should never have been revealed. Humanity was thus challenged to deal with forces far beyond its understanding. On each page, Enoch shows us the consequences of this forbidden knowledge, revealing how it altered the destiny of mankind and unleashed an invisible battle between good and evil. As you read, you'll see how Enoch, a prophet chosen by God, witnesses the corruption caused by these fallen angels and narrates God's decision to purify the earth through the flood. More than a story of punishment, the flood becomes a symbol of renewal, an attempt to restore order and purity to creation. It's a story that resonates to this day, reminding us of the importance of maintaining balance and honoring the sacred. Enoch bears witness to the divine plan with an intensity that transforms his own life and teaches us about the power of faith in times of great challenge. But the Book of Enoch isn't just about stories of destruction and punishment. It also brings hope, with visions of a new heaven and a new earth, where the righteous will find their reward and the unrighteous will meet their fate. Enoch is led on a unique spiritual journey, during which he sees the throne of God and receives revelations about the Son of Man, the Messiah who will judge the world. This promise of redemption and justice is an invitation to reflect on the importance of righteousness in our own lives, reminding us that despite dark times, there is always a greater light guiding us. At the end of this message, I invite you to join in a powerful prayer, a moment of introspection and surrender. May every word inspire a deeper connection with the divine and strengthen your faith, helping to keep challenges and uncertainties at bay. Prayer is a path to peace, love, and truth. And today we'll have the opportunity to unite in this chain of faith and renewal. Allow this message to touch your heart and prepare to experience a moment of pure communion with the Creator, where every request, every expression of gratitude, and every silence finds its purpose. The journey of the Book of Enoch is fascinating. It dives into a perspective on evil on earth that few are familiar with. The Watchers, celestial angels sent to observe humanity, strayed from their divine purpose. They became fascinated by the daughters of men and rebelled, creating a hybrid lineage, the Nephilim, these powerful giants filled with forbidden celestial knowledge. They introduced practices that were entirely new, such as astrology and magic, which soon altered the course of humanity. Have you ever thought about how these practices, rather than bringing true knowledge, actually became instruments distancing us from the divine? This unrestrained corruption caught the attention of Enoch, the prophet. As a careful observer, he documented in detail what he witnessed. Just imagine an ancient text that precisely describes the conflict between heaven and earth, the divine and the profane, purity and the fall. Enoch was like a chronicler of celestial disobedience, observing the impact that each piece of forbidden knowledge had on earth. He saw, for example, that astrology, which could have been a science to observe the heavens, turned into a path diverting focus away from spiritual values. Genesis 6 touches on this subject, but only briefly. If we depended solely on it, we'd understand little about the magnitude of this rebellion. The Book of Enoch, on the other hand, makes a point of clarifying the seriousness of the matter. It shows that the Watchers' introduction of practices such as war and sorcery was not mere rebellion. It was an affront to balance. They didn't just teach this knowledge, they transformed life on Earth, creating a lineage that carried this dark knowledge. Imagine the Watchers as great fallen figures, offering the forbidden fruit of knowledge to new generations, but not a peaceful knowledge. This Nephilim generation, the result of the union between fallen angels and human women, soon stood out. Huge and strong, they began to dominate humanity, but not benevolently. Rather than sharing harmony, they brought violence, destruction, and fear. Something that Enoch himself witnessed and narrated, opening our eyes to the cause of so much imbalance. Enoch's revelations depict a humanity in crisis, torn between respect for the divine and the temptation of the forbidden. It's as if he was saying, "Be careful with what shines too brightly. Not all knowledge is liberating." The Watchers, by transmitting this celestial wisdom, tampered with forces they couldn't control, paving the way for what Enoch would later describe as an unyielding purification. Thus began the preparation for the flood, and the Book of Enoch was only beginning its mission to decode the mysteries and celestial secrets. In the Book of Enoch, the flood appears as a great divine reset. Unlike what many might imagine, it's not just a physical flood. It's God's response to the rampant corruption brought about by the Watchers and the Nephilim. They caused so much chaos that God's original creation no longer recognized itself. To restore order, God decrees the flood, a total cleansing, an act of justice. It's as if he were saying, "You've abused the freedom I gave you, now it's time to start over." Noah, described as the most righteous among men, was chosen to survive this purification. God instructed him to build an ark strong enough to withstand the cataclysm that would come. But it wasn't just for himself. He would carry with him the future of humanity. The ark, then, was a symbol of hope, a chance to start anew in the midst of chaos. Genesis touches on this story, but Enoch adds unique details, describing the roles of archangels like Michael and Uriel, tasked with imprisoning the Watchers in the abyss until the final judgment. What's interesting is how Enoch describes the abyss where the Watchers were cast. It's not a place of quiet waiting, it's portrayed as a realm of torment and despair, something very different from our concept of prison. This abyss was, for them, a reflection of their actions on earth, an eternal punishment with no end. Michael and Uriel, great archangels, acted as enforcers of divine justice, reminding us of the abyss as the inevitable consequence of crossing heavenly boundaries. As a prophet, Enoch viewed the flood through different eyes. He didn't just see rising waters and people scrambling to survive, he saw a higher justice being enacted. It was the restoration of the original purity of creation, removing the sins and destructive practices introduced by the Watchers. To him, the flood wasn't an irrational punishment, but a way to give humanity a chance to return to what it was before corruption, as if the earth itself was crying out for renewal. So in his visions, Enoch leaves us with a much deeper understanding of the flood. It's not just water, it's the embodiment of divine justice, a force that sweeps away everything that's gone astray. And like any good story of new beginnings, he already envisions the next step, the moment when humanity would have the chance to grow again, this time with eyes open to the consequences of forbidden knowledge. At the heart of the Book of Enoch lies a mystery wrapped in celestial secrets and forbidden knowledge that the Watchers brought to humanity. Imagine this: celestial knowledge diverted to teach humans about astrology, warfare, sorcery, and even metalwork to forge weapons. These gifts from the Watchers didn't come to better humanity but to corrupt it. Suddenly, knowledge that should have been reserved for angels began circulating among humans, disrupting the divine balance. Enoch describes this introduction of unknown practices as the start of an age of decay. It's intriguing how he narrates astrology, for example, not as a beneficial science, but as a distraction that turns people away from the divine, diverting their focus from what truly matters. Practically speaking, for Enoch, this knowledge acted like an illusion, something that lured humanity toward the superficial, away from fundamental virtues and a relationship with God. The practices of sorcery and magic that came with the Watchers created a cycle of violence and fear. Enoch tells us that these secrets became sources of power and manipulation. The Nephilim, descendants of the Watchers, used this knowledge to dominate and terrorize. Instead of promoting peace, these forbidden teachings brought chaos and sin to earth. Enoch saw clearly that it wasn't knowledge itself that was the problem, but rather the misuse of something meant to be sacred, reserved for the divine. To Enoch, true knowledge should only be shared when one is prepared for it. However, the Watchers ignored this principle, handing it out recklessly and plunging humanity into a moral abyss. People, still too immature to understand these practices, quickly found themselves seduced by this wisdom, yet unable to fully control it. This is one of Enoch's greatest warnings. Wisdom must be tamed before it is acquired. Otherwise, it turns into a weapon that can both build and destroy. Enoch's lesson is clear. Knowledge must be guarded responsibly, and the key to keeping it sacred is self-control. The Watchers failed in this and revealed the cost of tampering with celestial secrets. By opening the door to forbidden knowledge, they left a dark legacy that Enoch describes as one of humanity's greatest tragedies. The narrative leads us to reflect. How far can humanity go in the pursuit of knowledge without losing itself? And once again, Enoch prepares to guide us toward the next mystery. May this prayer strengthen your faith, and may Enoch's example illuminate your path. The Book of Enoch isn't just a simple narrative, it's a work divided into 5 parts, each revealing unique aspects of the relationship between the divine and the human. We start with the Book of the Watchers, which focuses on the fallen angels and their transgressions. This book details the acts of rebellion of the Watchers, from their involvement with human women to their punishment in the abyss. It's as if Enoch were a historian of the supernatural, recording every detail of this celestial fall, revealing the direct consequences of forbidden knowledge that still resonate. The parables of Enoch bring a different tone to the narrative, with visions of the Messiah and the promise of resurrection for the righteous. Here, Enoch not only observes punishment, but also hope. He vividly narrates how the Son of Man will come to judge the world, rewarding the good and condemning the wicked. These parables are like a relief amid chaos, a promise that divine justice will prevail. They make us think, even when everything seems bleak, there's a higher power that keeps the universe in balance. Moving to the astronomical book, Enoch explores the cosmos and presents the movement of the stars as a divine work that dictates the seasons, the nights, and the days. He sees the celestial calendar as a kind of code of conduct, a way to sync human life with God's rules. It's a deeply spiritual vision of the universe, where each star follows its path by the Creator's command. Enoch reminds us that by observing the heavens, we can connect with something greater and learn to respect the time and rhythm of life. The dream visions offer a prophetic perspective on the destiny of nations and humanity. Enoch recounts visions of kingdoms rising and falling, of times of peace and times of war. These are dreams that go beyond the present and shed light on the future, showing the connection between human actions and their cosmic impact. It's as if Enoch was saying every action, whether by kings or ordinary people, has weight in the divine plan. It's a powerful reminder of how our choices leave deep marks. Finally, we have the Epistles of Enoch, where he addresses the righteous directly, offering guidance and important revelations. He writes with the heart of a guide, providing words of encouragement and warning. These epistles are like a manual for those who seek to live with integrity, inspiring them to follow the path of good, even in dark times. Enoch closes his epistles without a definitive conclusion, making it clear that this journey of knowledge is endless and that there are always more secrets awaiting those who dare to seek. Although considered sacred by some traditions, the Book of Enoch sparked significant controversies due to theological contradictions. A clear example appears in chapter 10, where Enoch mentions Noah before his birth, suggesting a foreknowledge that doesn't align with the traditional biblical narrative. This detail raises questions about the kind of inspiration Enoch truly had, whether it was a direct revelation or a text shaped by oral tradition. The Bible doesn't support this foretelling approach as openly, which contributes to the reservations about including Enoch in the official canon. Additionally, the book describes angels with specific roles as guardians of humanity, a concept that diverges from the biblical view of angels as celestial messengers and warriors. In Enoch, they are more active in human life, an idea that some Christians find problematic. This assignment of responsibility to the angels provokes questions about the limits of the celestial role in the divine plan. We might ask whether angels are, after all, as close to humanity as Enoch suggests, or if the biblical tradition preferred a more distant interpretation. One of the most intriguing concepts is the idea of a pseudepigraph, a text that may have been attributed to Enoch, but, according to scholars, might have been written by another author inspired by him. This uncertainty about the book's authorship is a key reason for its exclusion from the Bible. After all, if Enoch didn't write it, who did? And why use his name? This mystery adds an interesting layer to the debate about divine inspiration and the canonicity of the text. There's also the issue of punishment and redemption ideas that diverge from Christian doctrine. In the Book of Enoch, the Watchers and Nephilim are condemned to eternal torment in the abyss. But the Bible, especially in the New Testament, suggests that final judgment has not yet been fully decided. This difference places Enoch in a field of visions that, while complementary, broaden interpretations about the end times and eternal judgment. It's as if the book offers an alternative perspective on what divine justice might look like. Despite these contradictions, the Book of Enoch is quoted in Jude 1:14-15, indicating that it was known and respected in some religious communities of the time. This citation raises an interesting reflection. Even without being part of the Bible, the book holds historical and spiritual value that transcends centuries. Does Enoch still hold forgotten truths? And what other secrets might still be uncovered? Enoch is portrayed as someone deeply righteous and close to God, to the point of being taken to the heavens without experiencing death, a rare privilege shared only with the prophet Elijah. Enoch's ascension reflects a life of complete devotion, a connection so strong with the divine that it makes him worthy of walking among the angels. He is led through the 10 heavens, where he encounters the mysteries of creation, the stars, and the celestial realms. It's a journey that reveals what is most sacred and hidden, a path only someone as pure as Enoch could undertake. During this journey, Enoch witnesses God's throne, surrounded by flaming cherubim and seraphim who praise the Creator with powerful voices. Imagine the magnitude of that vision. He beholds supreme power, something that is almost unimaginable to us, a sight capable of transforming anyone. In every detail, Enoch perceives the justice and peace that reign in the heavens, a harmony that reflects the divine purpose. This vision makes us think about how distant the earthly world is from this balance and how every person, through faith, could come closer to this higher order. Enoch is informed about the Son of Man, who, according to the narrative, will be the judge of the living and the dead. This is a vision that echoes in Christianity as the figure of Jesus Christ. Enoch understands that there is a plan of justice prepared for humanity, and that the Son of Man will be the great executor of this divine order. It's a promise of redemption and judgment that elevates human understanding of what it means to be righteous or condemned. Thus, Enoch becomes a kind of ambassador of heavenly peace, a bridge between the divine and the earthly. Enoch's ascension also represents the value of intercession. He not only contemplates God's glory, but also acts as an intermediary, carrying the pleas of fallen angels and other beings. His role is similar to that of a spiritual advocate, someone who intercedes on behalf of others. It's a powerful image. Enoch, righteous, rising on behalf of those who have fallen. For him, intercession is an act of compassion, an effort to somehow restore the link between the divine and the profane. Each celestial level he passes through is a learning experience, and Enoch is an example of how faith and justice bring us closer to the sacred. As he walks among the heavens, he doesn't just observe the mysteries, he absorbs them. Enoch leaves us a lesson about the spiritual journey and how, to reach the heights, we must walk a path of righteousness. And the story continues with his prophecies about humanity's future in what he calls the Apocalypse of Weeks. The Apocalypse of Weeks, revealed in the Book of Enoch, is an astounding vision that organizes human history into 10 weeks or periods, each with profound meaning. Enoch details these periods as a progression of events marking the spiritual and moral development of humanity. Each week represents a significant phase, from the rise of the patriarchs to the arrival of the Messiah and the final judgment. It's a unique vision that not only narrates the past but also predicts the future, offering a structure of the divine plan for humanity's destiny. During each of these weeks, Enoch associates figures like Noah, Abraham, and Moses with major events that shape humanity. He sees history as a carefully planned sequence where each character and action aligns to form a grand purpose. Reading this prophecy, it's as if we can see the divine timeline unfolding before us, showing that everything has a reason and a right time. To Enoch, history is much more than chance. It's the manifestation of the divine plan on earth. In the final week, Enoch sees the arrival of the Messiah, a figure who will bring ultimate judgment between good and evil. This is one of the most intense moments of his prophecy, as he envisions a new era in which the righteous will live in peace, and the wicked will meet their fate. This final judgment is not merely a punishment, it's the separation between those who have followed the path of righteousness and those who have strayed. The vision of a new heaven and new earth is the reward for those who have persevered in faith. Enoch sets himself apart from traditional biblical texts by focusing on the role of the Watchers and Nephilim as enemies of the divine plan. While Daniel and the Book of Revelation mention the Antichrist, Enoch centers on the Watchers as the cause of humanity's great evil. This interpretation suggests that the struggle between good and evil is older and more complex, dating back to the first beings who dared to disobey God. It's a reminder that, in the grand scheme of the universe, even angels can choose the wrong path. At the end of the Apocalypse of Weeks, Enoch leaves us with the sense that, though the final destiny is mapped out, individual choices still matter. He makes us reflect on our role in the grand plan, suggesting that, like the patriarchs of faith, each of us can contribute to the unfolding of this story. And now the journey continues, as Enoch leaves us with his final epistles and revelations for the righteous who still seek the path of righteousness. At the end of this journey through the secrets and mysteries of the Book of Enoch, I invite you to reflect on the depth of this account and the impact it can have on our lives. Enoch reveals to us a powerful story of justice, faith, and purpose, reminding us that true knowledge comes from God and should be treated with reverence. If this message touched your heart and brought new perspectives on spirituality, don't forget to subscribe and share this biblical story with others so that together we can grow in wisdom and faith. And now, let's unite in a prayer inspired by Enoch's journey. Lord God, creator of the universe, we thank you for the life of Enoch, an example of faith and devotion. May we, like him, seek righteousness and justice in our lives. May the revelations and teachings of heaven remain with us, guiding us on the path of peace and goodness. Strengthen our faith to face challenges and grant us the discernment to understand what is sacred and true. May we rise in spirit as Enoch was lifted, and be examples of your light in the world. Amen. May this prayer strengthen your faith, and may Enoch's example illuminate your path.